We have had a record-breaking number of illicit intersections at the southwest border amid the Biden administration, but DHS is still denying that we are encountering a border emergency. At an oversight hearing sometime recently, the House Legal Committee on April 28, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas affirmed that the border is secure. FBI Executive Christopher Wray incorporates a distinctive supposition. He affirmed at a hearing sometime recently the Senate Legal Committee on August 4 that the border represents a critical security issue and speaks to a wide cluster of criminal dangers that stream out of it. The FBI chief is right, the rules aren't working. Chris Cabrera, a National Border Watch Chamber Bad Habit president, clarifies one of the associations between the record-breaking unlawful intersections and wrongdoing. He says that sedate bootleggers utilize the transient bunches that make illicit intersections to occupy operators. When Border Watch officers are taken from their watch obligations at other segments of the border to prepare the bunches of illicit crossers, the border segments they are abandoning are unprotected. The organization supplanted the statutory authorization arrangements within the Migration and Nationality Act, INA, with its possess rules, as far as anyone knows, to be able to utilize its requirement assets to expel vagrants who posture a risk to national security, open security, and border security. But Secretary Mayorkas said within the rules reminder that the reality that migrants are deportable beneath the requirement arrangements within the INA ought to not alone be the premise for an requirement activity against them. Are the rules fair of affection? The administration's authorization arrangements were not actualized until February 18, 2021, and border evacuations declined in financial 2021, since most of the illicit border crossers were ousted compatible to the Title 42 arrange rather than being subject to evacuation beneath the INA arrangements. Be that as it may, agreeing to movement requirement information gotten by Jessica M. Vaughn through FOIA demands, evacuations from the insides of the nation too declined. They dropped from 62,730 in monetary 2020 to 31,557 in financial 2021, and remained distant underneath the financial 2019 level of 85,958, in spite of an ease in widespread restrictions. ICE movement captures within the insides fell to the most reduced level in more than a decade in financial 2021. ICE's 6,000 authorization officers each found the middle value of around 12 migration captures that financial 2021, as it were approximately one per month. The evacuation of sentenced offenders fell from 103,762 in monetary 2020 to 39,149 in monetary 2021. Expulsion of exasperated criminals fell from 9,161 in financial 2020 to 5,221 in financial 2021. Track information demonstrates that within the to begin with 6 months of monetary 2022, as it were 3.1% of the expulsion procedures ICE started included national security or criminal charges, 31.1% included other migration charges, and the remaining 65.8% included passage without review charges. One of the issues is that the rules don't incorporate all of the criminal evacuation grounds. They take off out transients sentenced of wrongdoings of ethical turpitude, sedate offenses, different offenses within total sentence of restriction of 5 a long time or more, and certain guns offenses. Why would the organization do that in the event that it is genuine, almost expelling transients who posture a threat to open security? 287 G. Program. The same address applies to the administration's lessening within the utilize of 287 G. Associations with state and nearby law authorization offices from 4,319 to 1,613 in financial 2021, which too contributed to the decrease within the evacuation of criminal vagrants. The 287 G. program is exceptionally supportive for recognizing and taking guardianship of criminal transients. It authorizes state and neighborhood law enforcement officers to act as a constraint multiplier within the recognizable proof, capture, and benefit of warrants and detainers of imprisoned transients with criminal charges or convictions. Criminal transients not being detained. On June 10, a government judge found that the organization was not complying with INA Segment 1226, C. 1, B, which needs DHS to require into care any transient who has committed an exasperated crime. The organization claimed that it didn't have the detainment offices required to comply with that arrangement. But the judge found that the organization wasn't making a great confidence exertion to comply with it. The organization submitted 2 budget demands in which it inquired Congress to cut those assets by 26%. And it tirelessly underutilized existing detainment facilities. According to Track, as of July 17, 69% of ICE foreigner prisoners had no criminal record. Anticipated increment in illicit crossings. National Border Watch Chamber President Brandon Judd is perplexed that when the Title 42 arrange is ended, which is unavoidable, it'll open the conduits to illicit movement. Compatible to that arrange, the Border Watch ousted more than 1 million unlawful crossers in financial 2021, and 828,232 within the to begin with 9 months of monetary 2022. This will make it much simpler for bootleggers of drugs and other booty to occupy the consideration of Border Watch officers to open up areas of the border. Moreover, Todd Bensman claims that get to the joined together states from Central America has gotten simpler as of late. He claims that there's an unused vagrant superhighway bringing the world from South America to Texas. The Biden organization shows up to have discharged Mexico from its ascension to utilize its 30,000 National Protect officers to halt caravans of vagrants heading to the joined together states. In late June, Mexico City requested its officers to surrender the southern throughways to the vagrant caravans. Bensman moreover claims Panama has built up an unused ocean course for taking vagrants to the joined together states by permitting sneaking vessels from Colombia to arrive much encouraged northwest up the Caribbean coast on Panamanian region. This licenses the transients to bypass the Darien Crevice, which comprises of more than 60 miles of thick rain timberland, soap mountains, and endless swamps. It is one of the world's most unsafe movement routes. Does this data show that the rules are a affection for not taking authorization activities against transients who are fair here unlawfully? I think it does.